Wet Seal was a fast fashion retail chain that opened in 1962 and closed in 2017. Thank you for your suggestion. The company was founded in Newport Beach, California by Lauren Hike in 1962 and was named Lorne's. The Wet Seal name is derived from a comment Hike's wife made during a fashion show that a model wearing a bathing suit looked like a wet seal. Wet Seal was established in California as a beachwear retailer. During the first 2 decades of its existence, Wet Seal had developed into a $5 million in sales, 17-store chain with all retail units located in California. Size, however, was not the chain's problem. Although Wet Seal's small presence left it lost among the large apparel retailers in California, its profitability stood out as its most glaring handicap. But the company was awash in debt. The sweeping changes that transformed the company into one of the darlings of the California retail apparel industry during the 1980s occurred midway through the decade when the struggling chain gained new management and a new owner. In 1984, a Canadian retail store chain named Suzy Shear acquired Wet Seal, paying $2 million for the struggling and little-known business. The purchase marked the beginning of years of robust growth and Wet Seal's ascendancy to prominence in a fiercely competitive California retail market. The chief architect of Wet Seal's prolific rise was Ken Chilvers, head of the Suzy Shear operations. When Suzy Shear acquired Wet Seal in 1984, Chilvers left Toronto and moved to California to steward the fortunes of the money-losing Wet Seal. For assistance in arresting the chain's financial slide, Chilvers turned to Kathy Peckham, a former Jordan Marsh merchandising executive. Peckham's changes were pervasive, essentially abolishing the strategy that had guided Wet Seal's existence during the 1960s and the 1970s. She put together a merchandising mix designed to attract a much larger customer base, adding junior sportswear apparel items that quickly drew flocks of customers to the stores. Flowered denim, miniskirts, colorful Aztec prints, and psychedelic bikinis graced Wet Seal's racks and shelves from the mid-1980s forward, drawing teenage girls in packs. Surprisingly, their mothers came as well, unafraid to don the youthful fashion trends of the day. The metamorphosis worked, bringing in teenage customers and women in their late 40s. During the exponential growth that ensued, Chilvers was granted autonomy from his silent partners at Suzy Shear, gaining full control over all of Wet Seal operations. Peckham, meanwhile, ascended to the Wet Seal's executive vice president and general merchandising manager posts, earning recognition for sparking growth that dazzled industry analysts. The press hailed Wet Seal as the retail phenom of the 1980s, a distinction that few could discount given what the company had achieved during the latter half of the 1980s. Between 1985 and 1989, annual sales mushroomed more than 900%, approaching the $100 million plateau. The number of stores jumped from 17 to 78. Most important, the company's profitability was restored, underscoring the importance of Chilvers and Peckham's work. By the end of the 1980s, Wet Seal's stature within the California retail industry had grown dramatically, and Chilvers was intent on keeping the momentum. He invested heavily in increasing the size of each store, raising the average square footage of a Wet Seal unit from 2,500 to 4,000 square feet. Inside the stores, considerable capital had been invested as well. The enlarged units contained wide center aisles flanked by walls with merchandise stacked to the ceiling. Behind the central cash registers, massive computer-driven video walls played the latest rock music videos, accentuating the trendy appeal of Wet Seal merchandise. Wet Seal soon established its first stores outside of California, opening stores in Las Vegas and Phoenix. They would open stores in Hawaii and Florida as well. In July of 1990, the company went public to fuel its expansion. The company didn't cut corners. They invested roughly twice the industry average for each store opening and continued to create hip havens for its customers. By the end of the year, 20 new stores have been added to the chain, giving Wet Seal a total of 93 stores scattered across Arizona, Nevada, Hawaii, and Florida, as well as California. 20 stores opened in 1990, helping to lift sales over $100 million for the first time, and the company's net income reached a record $7.1 million. By 1991, the severity of the recession was intensifying, but unlike many of its competitors, Wet Seal was moving forward unchecked. By constantly turning over its merchandise, which Wet Seal executives dubbed multi-generational, and by awarding weekly bonuses to employees for inventory turnover. By the end of 1991, there were 112 stores composing the Wet Seal chain. As the company continued with its expansion plans in 1992, adding 13 stores during that year, industry observers were surprised by the announcement of Chilver's departure in March. But financial trouble lay ahead. Annual sales dropped to $140 million, and most disconcerting, the company's net income slipped into the red. Wet Seal lost $2.4 million in 1993 and another $1 million in 1994 as the years of explosive growth shuddered to a stop. While expansion had continued, bringing the company's store count totaled up to 133 by the end of 1994, consumers had lost interest in junior apparel, sending a shockwave throughout the industry. Fashion tastes had changed and Wet Seal had not foreseen the shift, a mistake that thrust the company into a precarious position as it entered the mid-1990s. In early 1995, the company discovered what it perceived as a solution to its financial woes. In April of 1995, Neiman Marcus agreed to sell its floundering Contempo Casuals chain to Wet Seal. With 237 stores scattered throughout 34 states and Puerto Rico, Contempo Casuals represented a significant addition to Wet Seal's operations, nearly tripling the company's size and immediately transforming it into a genuine national retailer. Expected to be completed by the end of May, the deal was concluded in July for stock value at $1 million. Industry analysts questioned the benefits of combining Contempo Casuals, which lost $37 million on $303 million in sales in 1994, and Wet Seal, a money loser itself. The company continued to tinker with its business approach, testing a new concept store during late 1995 called the Girls Room, which featured apparel and accessories such as novelty toys, cosmetics, candles, and books. Positive early results prompted the company to push forward with the concept and make plans to incorporate the Girls Room in 160 stores nationwide. In November of 1996, Wet Seal introduced a new store concept called Limbo Lounge, a unisex outlet that featured urban clothes for teenage men and women in an entertainment setting that included TV screens, internet access, and in one case, a juice bar. In 1997, Wet Seal acquired 17 Rampage stores, which had filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. In July of 1998, the company acquired 102 more stores, including Britches Great Outdoors for an undisclosed sum, and 19 episode stores from Philadelphia maternity wear chain Mother's Work Inc. for $2.8 million. The acquisitions poised Wet Seal for the opening of Ardent Bee, a new chain devoted to slightly upscale clothing for 20 to 40-year-old women, in November of 1998. Attempting to cash in on the successful formula of khakis and polo shirts that had paid off for such competitors as Abercrombie & Fitch, J. Crew, and American Eagle Outfitters, the company re-merchandised its flagship stores with preppy casual wear in place of the trendy club wear styles it had long relied upon. In the year 2000, Wet Seal decided to cease acquisitions for a time, close down its Limbo Lounge outlets, now 26 in number, convert nearly all of its 200 Contempo casual stores into Wet Seal locations, and refocus on female fashion. Both Wet Seal stores and R&B locations underwent a makeover. Wet Seal outlets were brightened up with open ceilings, more lighting, and glossy pink, blue, and white walls. Some stores opened shoe departments and added mannequins. In 2001, the company resumed acquisitions. Wet Seal paid an undisclosed amount to purchase 18 Zootopia stores. Product placements on the popular WB network reality show Pop Stars pushed Wet Seal's brand exposure. Through an exclusive deal, Wet Seal attired the cast and carried clothes modeled on those worn on the television show in stores under the Pop Stars brand name. In January of 2004, the company closed down its Zootopia division, citing a need to refocus on its core business. Overall sales for the year showed a drop of 20.1% from 2003. The company responded by announcing the closure of 150 Wet Seal stores, a full third of the division outlets, and the elimination of 2,000 jobs. In June of 2010, the Blink by Wet Seal concept was announced. Blink's store focused on denim products for the same teenage girl demographic as Wet Seal, but with store sizes of 1,600 square feet. The company operated 504 retail stores in 47 states, including 424 Wet Seal stores and 80 R&B stores. By 2013, the competition from Forever 21 took its toll on the company. Layoffs at the company headquarters, coupled with a $7.5 million settlement with a racial discrimination lawsuit, hurt the company. In January of 2015, because of increased competition in the teen clothing sector, Wet Seal closed a number of stores despite previously indicating to employees that the outlets would stay open. On January 16, 2015, the company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Less than 2 years later, on January 27, 2017, Wet Seal announced the closing of all of its stores immediately and terminating all staff and employees. Wet Seal shut down all 171 stores, resulting in significant job losses. Their official letter said, "Unfortunately, the company was unable to obtain the necessary capital or identify a strategic partner, and was recently informed that it will receive no further financing for its operations." The brand was acquired by Gordon Brothers. It is now operating as an online-only retailer, but reports say that the last Instagram post was in 2021. Thank you for watching. If you like this content, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Thanks.